So while I spent the past month or so fully absorbed in PT, I started to hear rumblings on Tumblr and Twitter about a new horror game, an indie developed one called Five Nights at Freddy's. I added it to my Steam wishlist and figured I'd get to it sooner or later, but curiosity got the better of me as I started seeing pictures around the internet. I mean, how could a game where the main antagonists are a bear, bunny, and chicken actually be scary? I had to find out, so I took the $5 plunge. And I found out.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a game that puts you in charge of security for the graveyard shift at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, a Chuck E. Cheese-style kids attraction complete with singing animatronic animals. We have Bonnie, the bass-playing bunny, Chica, the backup singer chicken, and of course, Freddy Fazbear himself, the lead singer of the bunch. Doesn't sound so bad, right? What could possibly be scary about that? Ah, they come to life at night. Lovely. According to the helpful previous security guard who decided to leave voice memos for his inevitable replacement, the problem these animatronics have is that when they see a human at night, they don't recognize it as human. They assume it's an animatronic endoskeleton without its fursuit, which is apparently against the rules. So if you get caught by them, they're going to try to shove you into one of the empty Freddy suits. But these aren't like your average Disney World character suits, and there's a lot of moving parts in there. So as the previous guard so eloquently explains...
So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth when they pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign up.
Needless to say, you don't want them to find you. And that's your goal for this game, just to survive your 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. night shift without getting caught. Doesn't sound so hard, right? Well, there's a few caveats. For starters, you can't move. At all.
Your point of view is in the security guard office, and that's where it'll stay. All you have control of is to look to the left and right doors, use the light switches and door switches at each, and to check your security tablet. To make matters worse, all of these things use up your electricity, because apparently this place runs solely on one generator at night. And if you run out, you're pretty much doomed. So then, how do you actually survive? Well, thankfully, Freddy generally won't come after you for the first few nights. The other two wander the pizzeria kinda randomly. Chica keeps to the east side of the building, while Bonnie sticks to the west. Chica seems to follow paths to an extent, but Bonnie can practically teleport. So while it's good to keep an eye on them through the security tablet, it's really important to look up from it frequently and check your doors using the light switches, especially if you can't find one of them on the cameras. If Bonnie and Chica are at your door, you must lower the door until they go away. If you don't do this quick enough, they'll sneak into the room without you realizing it. And the next time you lower your tablet... On later nights, you'll actually be able to tell if one of them has snuck into the room, because the light switch and door buttons on their side will become disabled. If you're close enough to 6 a.m. when that happens, you can try to ride things out by just sitting still and not looking at your tablet. I've done it before, but it's all luck. There is a good chance Freddy or Foxy will get you at that point.
Oh, did I forget to mention Foxy? Well, my friends, let me tell you about Foxy.
Foxy is the rather decrepit fourth animatronic in the game. He's in the Pirates Cove area, which is out of order, and for good reason. It's theorized that Foxy was responsible for the Bite of 87, an incident referenced in the game where an animatronic took a chunk out of a patron's frontal lobe. How pleasant. Foxy behaves much differently than the other animatronics. He'll generally stay in Pirates Cove, sometimes singing a little tune. Unless you check on him too often. Or too little. It's a hard to find balance, and it's pretty much unavoidable that he's gonna come out on later nights. As Foxy gets closer to leaving, your view of Pirates Cove will change. Eventually, once he's out, he won't show up there anymore, and all you'll see are the wide open curtains. If that happens, it means Foxy is on his way to you, and he's not kind enough to wander aimlessly around like the others. No, he beelines right for you. So you better close the door, and fast. But even if you do succeed, you'll hear Foxy bang on the door, which reduces your power by anywhere from 1% to 10%. Which sucks, especially later in the night when you're probably already low on energy.
But what about the title character, Freddy? Oh, don't worry, he hasn't forgotten about you. Freddy's a little different because he doesn't become active until the later nights, but once he does, he doesn't mess around. He follows a preset path directly to you rather than wandering around like the other animatronics.
You'll know Freddy's on the move when you hear his deep, hearty laughter. The only way to slow him down is to keep an eye on him with the security cameras, which, of course, uses precious energy and puts you at risk of attack by Bonnie, Chica, or Foxy. By night 5, the game is a high-strung balancing act between watching Freddy, watching Foxy, but not too much, and checking the doorways. Managing all of this while not overdoing anything so that you can maintain power is a serious struggle, and you'll be hard-pressed to survive.
You know, I've got some questions about this place. Like, for starters, why do these animatronics even come to life in the first place? Why would anybody take their kid to a restaurant like that? Let alone work at the restaurant? The internet has some theories.
Apparently, in some news clippings on the wall that are barely legible, it talks about a missing children incident from years ago, when the animatronics were still allowed to roam freely during the day. According to the papers, someone in a Freddy suit was luring children away, presumably kidnapping them. Internet hypotheses include that it was an employee in the suit who then reprogrammed the animatronics for evil. Others say that the animatronics are already evil and used the employee as a scapegoat when it was actually Freddy himself. Apparently, the restaurant needed to close its doors afterwards for a time since customers complained of putrid odors, blood, and mucus leaking from the characters, lending even more evidence to the possibility that Freddy himself forced the missing kids into suits of their own. Not to mention the fact that if you look really closely, you can even see handprints on Freddy's mask, implying that there was some sort of struggle.
I would burn this place to the ground.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This game is really tough, and I haven't even actually beaten the game yet because it's so hard. But it's challenging and fun, and honestly, as frustrating as it is, it's really exhilarating. The limited control combined with the power management creates an extremely stressful situation. And when you add on to that the dread of the animatronics showing up and you not being ready for it, it's a really interesting experience, to say the least. With a $5 price tag, this isn't one to be missed for horror fans. Well, that's all for this week's episode. I hope you'll check out the next one where I'll be looking at the RPG Maker horror game, Ebe. Stay spoopy, my friends.